John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you.
I've been wrapped in fine twine linen since the beginning. Royal luxuries of life with no more sinning. Kingdom living. Which garments to choose? They is the sand of the seas. Just like the true Jews, my gold chalice of wine is filled for the 12th time. While I take a rewind, others' palace of mine. Now that's divine. And I maneuver space and time. And many mansions with expansions are void of crime. Got so much in my hands with uncountable lands. My physical, my mental, and my regions expand. Finding poverty here, man, don't press your luck. Swimming in gold coins like Scrooge McDuck. That's right. And that's just living a life of a righteous man with a righteous plan. No stress and a strife. How can that be when I speak to the earth and the sea to bring forth delicacies for my family to eat? Victuals for my stallions, cleaners for my medallions, hideaways on the islands, animals by the thousands, the nicest of spices for my kids to share, aloes and myrrhs for my queens to wear. We gonna shackle the man that once dwelt in the caves and make servants and slaves in this land of the braves. To hell with the world, in the bondage we bring them. Israel living well, flip side, call it the kingdom, the kingdom.
We live in dreams, like kings and queens, no more fiends. We got rings and things, if the ends justify the means, it's on you, cause the world, it was made for you, yeah. We live in dreams, like kings and queens, no more fiends. We got rings and things, if the ends justify the means, it's on you, cause the world, it belongs to you, yeah.
Eternal lavishness, my class immaculate, the whole universe of mastering. My brothers, we having this. Last man standing in my mansion. Many concubines is dancing, righteously romancing. My wife, so we can bring more lives and live this. Endless riches, it's like ruling is a sickness. Execute the heathens, death sentence. The tables turn, Esau gets burned in these realms. So much power and dominion, my mind's overwhelmed. I can teleport, read thoughts, have a yacht dock at my own seaport. I wish it's my own command, depending on my thinking expands. Own the property in various lands. Living life grand and chillin'. I look forward to this prophecy, most high willing. That's real, man. The possibilities is infinite. I can't wait till we take part in this.
Man, it's all relevant. These mental pictures can manipulate the elements. Like turning water to wine, redefine a molecular composition through the rhyme, redesign, and get released to the streets where we can shine. So priestly, these heathen bow to their needs when they meet me. Fitted in jewel-studded robes, wearing mitra. Witty come concrete and discreetly devastate whole realms completely. Meet me at the pearly gates with the 38. If they get the trip and set them straight, then we eating steak and feeling great when we sipping on the finest some flagons dipped in all satin, dressed in the flies, exotic silk. My fine sisters dripped up, frankincense through my whiskers. No more pain, no more blisters or calluses, cause we in palaces tipping up chalices.
We live in dreams, like kings and queens, no more fiends. We got rings and things, if the ends justify the means, it's on you, cause the world, it was made for you, yeah. We live in dreams, like kings and queens, no more fiends. We got rings and things, if the ends justify the means, it's on you, cause the world, it belongs to you.
You trying to tell me I went through all that and y'all couldn't hear me? Let me hold on. Let me rewind. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I'm still slumped over from last night. Blessed Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, beginning day one. If it's like that, the rest of these 7 days, man, I'll be in complete elation and joy, right? I'm slumped over, but because I got love for my peoples and I love y'all, I'm still gonna push through. Help me, y'all. Help. No, I'm just playing. Like I said, never would I get that bad. But I will tell you this. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High, while Yahweh Shai, man. We did have a blessed Passover last night. Um, Shout out to everybody that made it. Everybody that was with us in the spirit. Watched online when we was live. It was a splendid time with our partners in crime, BLW, in righteousness, that is. But yeah, we had a good time. Started day one, and look, Shalak laughing. you know what time it is. But yeah, we had a good time. Blessed holy occasion last night, in the spirit, and it was all good, man. Hopefully everybody else did as well, and kept it in the spirit of truth, righteousness, and faith, and then these commandments. And we're gonna continue on until we get to this last day. Outside of that, it is still a Shabbat Shalom to my family that's in the house, man. I'm expecting a low turnout because, like I said, it's gonna be a a few people still in recovery mode for the day. I think I got home about 4:30, somewhere around there. So just pulling it together. Uh, Shabbat Shalom and salute to the house of Bayan, man. Happy Passover and unleavened bread to you, family. Hashemai, salute to you, my sister. Happy Sabbath. Feast of unleavened bread and Passover to you. Shalak, you was in the house, all praises. Ashar, you was in the house, all praises. Brother Jason, shalom to you. Happy feast of unleavened bread and Passover to you. Sister Raniyah, happy Passover to you and Feast of Unleavened Bread. Kohav, my brother, there you go. Happy Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread to you as well, fam. Zakar was in the house, him and the family was in the house, man. All praises. Shabbat Shalom, man. Happy feast day to you too. Sister Denise, shalom to you as well. And everybody and everybody else is in the house, man. It's a blessed day, man. I'm in a good mood. So just want to cover a few things with y'all because it's getting even more confusing and more wicked out there, man. I mean, the white man is showing his true colors under the name of Donald T. Trump, Agent Orange, number 40, what is it, 47? The 47th Pharaoh, the 47th Caesar of America, right? He's showing us a double dollar sign, making strong declarations that there's no inflation, food prices is down, energy is down, there's no problems with the economy, and everybody should be balling and not complaining. Meanwhile, he's pulling up and requesting $1 trillion to get prepared for war. $1 trillion, that's with the T, y'all. And our people is fighting over eggs in the stores because of the prices. And he's saying, what price increase? Food prices are down. This is how you know we're dealing with the devil, man. I mean, it's some wild stuff going on that this man is committing himself to. And, that old proverb where they say, don't urinate on me and tell me it's raining. I mean, that's exactly how he's living right now under this administration. You dig what I'm saying? So let's get to it. No more delays. Anybody that's going to be joining in on the chat, man, shalom to you. Make sure you wipe them feet. Come on in here. Show some respect. Show some honor. Show some dignity about yourself, man. Hit the like button, man. That's all you got to do. And all will be well. All right. Let me share my screen correctly because this one is not doing it. There we go. Okay. We're going to open up and get a few scriptures, and we're going to start at Mark. And we're going to read Mark 13. Mark 13. And we'll read verse 33. It says, "Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not what." Uh oh. How about now? That looks a little better. Let me make sure that came up. All right. We're going to start at verse 33. "Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is." You know, we've been chronicling, and I was speaking to Elder Sha'af last night, and we were talking about Passover, and he was saying, next year, but he said, I don't want to misquote my brother, but he said something to the effect of, I hope this is the last one that we have to have. And I said, we've been saying that for the past few years. So I'm done even saying that. If you start back, I don't know how many, more seriously in the spirit, let's just say 2020, when the DVOC 91 plague was unleashed, whether real manufacturer, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to speak out on it anymore. That's how they've been striking and pulling our channels from us. But y'all know the deal. From that point on, man, everybody was like shook, saying this might be it. This might be it. Then it's, as things continue to, to move in the spirit, uh, more things start unfolding, more people start getting sick, dying, all kind of stuff going on. The economy's going haywire, the elections, the protests, everything. And each year we was like, hey, this might be it. This might be it. Oh, we got wars jumping off in 2023. Now is another war kicks off in what was it in 2023, I believe was the October 7th with Israel and Gaza. 2021, I want to say, was the Ukraine um uh, Russia war. And each one, not even each one, let's say Ukraine and Russia, that started in February. So that was right before Passover. So, of course, we like, this might be it. The COVID thing, that kicked off when they announced the quarantines. That was in March, I believe, of 2020. How do I know that? Because that's when they told my job, hey, y'all got to go work from home. Nobody's coming in anymore. We got to quarantine, shut down, all that other stuff, right? So for the past 4 years, 5 years, there's always been something going down right before Passover. And that's just the spirit, right, of the season that we're in. But it seems to be ramping up even more and more seriously, and to the point that we're constantly saying, this might be it. This might be the last one. Um, but Yahweh told us to take heed. That means we have to be forewarned. We need to be diligent. We need to be aware, to take heed, to take notice, to make sure that we understand. Even Sirach 5:15 says, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great. So that means that we have to be in full awareness, taking heed, watch and pray. These are all things that we need to be doing, observing the times, understanding and seeing what's going on prophetically, what's going on in our particular surroundings, what's going on in the spirit, with our people, with with our enemies, so forth and so on, and continually in that prayer mode. One thing the Christians got coined is them being prayer warriors. That's something that the Israelite community could improve on as a whole. You know, I don't know how many of us pray 3 times a day as it's prescribed by, as we see David doing and we see Daniel doing, and that's the only blueprint that we see when it comes down to a prayer regimen. Is it with saints getting worn out and your daily schedules? Are you able to pray 3 times a day? Do you remember to pray at all? These are things you got to check yourself on. Not when you're in that tight spot. Not when you need something for the Most High. We're talking daily supplications and prayers that you're offering up. Praise, glory, honor to the Most High. You're offering up your supplications for your household, your family, for your nation. You're offering up uh, uh, prayers of the destruction and the ceasing of our enemies and all those who oppose the word of the Most High and oppress His people. Right? You gotta be praying in all those manners. You know that there's a particular hour of prayer that we're supposed to be locked in on. If anybody knows the hour of prayer, throw it in the chat. Let me see something real quick. There's an hour of prayer, right? That the scriptures tell us was customary and acknowledged. If you know the hour of prayer, what hour of the day it is, throw it in the chat and provide a scripture. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of Q&A right now. Throwing out the question, I just want to see if anybody's aware or hip to knowing when the hour of prayer is. Let me check that chat real quick. Any more? Yeah, all praises, Brian. And that's it. I'm not saying it in any accusatory manner. I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to y'all. I'm waiting. Let me see something. I don't see no responses. Hour of prayer. Anybody want to guess? You want to throw out a guess? How about that? No guesses? Are y'all awake? Or y'all still slumped over like last night too? Let me find out. Since there's no takers, then they will be learning today. Zakar says the ninth hour. Now, that's a good guess. That's a good guess, Zakar. But you got a scripture that can help us with that? Ashkarabia Allah. That's the 3 times a day. You see that? 9, 12. All right, you driving back to Vegas, drive safe. Drive safe, no problem. All right, so let's just put it out the scriptures real quick. And there you go. Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour. Being the 9th hour. That's Acts 3 and 1. The 9th hour will be around 3 p.m. in the daytime. But we know that David even said that he prayed morning, noon, and night in the book of Psalms. So if you did not know that, the customary temple prayer went down at 3 o'clock in the 9th hour. All right. Acts 3 and 1. So y'all can write that down, put it in your notes, precept it in your Bible. I got to remember the one in Psalms. Yeah, here we go. Psalm 55. It's David, Psalm 55. All right, we'll just go to the chapter. And look what his prayer was. Psalm 55:16, it says, "As for me, I will call upon the Most High, and Yahweh shall save me." So we're talking about prayers of deliverance. We're talking about prayers of protection, which all we need. You know, when we need the shielding and the protection of the Most High, when we pray to the Most High to send Michael and the angels to watch over us and protect us from Satan and all evil, these are the type of prayers that we have to implement within our thoughts and in our minds so that we can kind of, make sure that the Lord is moving forward with helping us in our state of affairs, right? But how often did he do it? He said, evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. So in the evening, in the beginning of the day, in the morning when he wakes up, and at noonday, right? And the noon could be anywhere between, it doesn't have to necessarily be 12 p.m., but you could do it anywhere between 12 and 3 p.m. 6 hour. And then you get to the 9th hour at 3 o'clock is when that begins. So, just customarily, we don't have to be robotic with it, but you definitely want to be in the spirit of trying to attain to bringing up your prayer game, right? Because Yahweh Shah told us that's what we need to do during these times right now. Because what else do you have? What else? You waiting for stimulus? You waiting for the so-called white man to save you? I mean, we had no other options but our Lord and Savior Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and these prophecies Divine intervention from the Most High is going to be necessary, man. We're fighting against a cold beast system, the devil incarnate walking around on two legs with a forked tongue, and a system that is designed to destroy, kill, steal, and the whole nine, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And he's taking no prisoners. He'll even kill his own. He'll cannibalize his own in order to get to the target audience, which is us, the Israelites. Mark 13, back to 33. It says, take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. So none of us know. There's no date stamp we can put on it because, a slick little Negro will sit back and say, if we knew the date, we will wait up until the last minute, man. We will cut up, act a fool, and then when 2 months, 3 months before that said date, if we knew the exact date of the deliverance of the children of Israel, the destruction of the Lord's enemies, the redemption of the chosen, the sealing of the elect, the 144,000, if we knew that, man, our people would sit back and act a fool until it's almost time. That's where you get the CPT time, the colored people time. Yeah, well, that's what we're designed to fluctuate towards. Casually late. Yeah, Oscar Rob, he gave that Daniel 6. That's right. Let's get Daniel as well. That's a good precept. Because I may mention the Daniel, but I didn't pull him up as well. And we'll get back to you, Yahushua. Daniel 6 and 10. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he sent into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before the Most High as he did aforetime. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 3 times a day. We see David said he did evening, morning, and noon. Daniel, I'm sure, followed suit. We see the customs of the temple was 3 p.m. when they brought it out. There go my boy. Allah Kabar, what's happening, man? Shalom. Shalom. Let's continue on and get back to Mark. Mark 13. Oops, I put 14. Mark 13. All right, and then here we go. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants. Now hold on. Let me throw another little jab. Well, not a jab. Let me throw a couple more precepts for brothers, just in regards to who's been given authority on the earth. If this is a parable, if this is an understanding where we're hearing that Christ is going away, and while he's away, authority's been given to his servants. Well, who is the servants? I'm gonna give y'all a second. Throw a couple precepts in there. Who are the servants of the Lord? Because in this parable, the Son of Man, who everyone knows is Yahweh Shai in this parable, when he's gone, 3 days, 3 nights, he rose, he departed. Authority was given to his servants, as it's always been, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Now the servants, I'm waiting on the precepts in there. Somebody throw me something. Bayan says Isaiah 45 and 4. Let's see. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. Con, all good. All good. Good job. You thinking about the saints, Naquab. We talking servants. Now let me give y'all another one, Leviticus 25 and verse 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power. So there you go. You put Psalms 140. I'm pretty sure that's talking about the saints. But I could be wrong. Let me pop it up. Oh, no, that was it. Saints. I'm talking servants. All right. But y'all got it. All we need is a couple. We just needed a couple, right? So Leviticus 25:55, Bayan gave Isaiah 45:4, which was still a good one. He gave another one, Isaiah 44. You know, Isaiah always gives it up. Now, yeah, we still got the people of Jacob, sons of Jacob, daughters of Jacob. There's one more in Isaiah. Isaiah is constantly letting us know uh, who his people are and who the servants of the Lord are. And it does not matter about some old bucktooth redneck down south who's running around talking about how they're Baptists and evangelicals and how much they're there to serve the Lord and they're down there holding serpents and, doing the jig. No, you're not serving the Lord. Isaiah 49:3 says, and he said unto me, thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. So if they ain't, if a Christian or somebody is not satisfied with, oh, it said Jacob is the servant. Okay, well, you got a couple that acknowledges Israel as being the servants. And y'all can continue building from there. Let's get back to Mark. Because here in this parable, the Lord said that he gave authority to his servants while he's away. But, however, the servants can lose their position if they don't continue in the works. 34, for the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey who left his house and gave authority to his servants, to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. Oh, these are all times we're supposed to be praying, right? You won't get caught slipping if you're in that mode of prayer. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh. So we know that the second coming of Yahweh Shai is prophesied, and is to bring forth the deliverance. And what should the servants be doing to maintain authority? Is we're supposed to be occupying ourselves in our works. The faith of Yahweh Shai, committing ourselves to the commandments, right? For the brothers out there that's out there teaching, teaching the gospel of repentance to our people, to get them to turn back, to repent from their sins, to seek the face of the Lord 10 times or more, to acknowledge their iniquities, to help build and grow our nation, to develop families built around the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, to develop a community built around the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing in the meantime, in between time, as they say. But what could happen? Verse 36, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. We sleep on the job. We're not taking care of our business. We're too busy. We talked about it last night. In James, I believe we read about Israel, basically cannibalizing each other, being at each other's throats, going at it with each other, as opposed to identifying who our true enemy is, identifying and understanding the times that we're living in, and do we really have time to be dealing with all the friction and the infighting and the foolishness that goes on? It said, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. This is one of the things that we know during the time of first century, man. There was a lot of friction going on between the Israelite quote unquote sects that was going on. And I didn't say SEX, SECTS. Okay. There was, disputes and issues amongst the Pharisees. You had the Ebionites, you had the Essenes, you had the Sakari, you had the Pharisees, you had the Sadducees. You had quote unquote different camps, different frames of thought, all saying that they, had the truth. All had different approaches about how and who was supposed to be leading the people. And infighting led us to be weakened when the Romans rose up on us and, we had issues. So we can't be asleep. No sleeping at the switch. Verse 37, and what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. So Yahweh told the disciples, he said, look, everything I'm saying to you, I'm telling everybody these same instructions. Watch and pray. All right. This has been a particular scripture that's been prevalent over the last few weeks, right? And First Thessalonians 5, we're going to read verse 1 down to 3. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. You know, that's how you know Paul was a Jake, man. He's like, look, I ain't got to tell you. You know what time it is. And I speak in that same tone, same spirit to all of y'all that always tune in to DSTM. I ain't got to tell you. You know the times that we're living in. That's why you tune in. Because we're on one accord saying, yeah, this is real. This is what's going on. I need more information. I got some, and I just want to fact check what I got. This brother got what I'm talking about, or this. Yeah, I don't have to tell you. You know the times that we're living in. And if you don't, now you're learning even more. Verse 2, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. See, that we should all know that. Yahweh said, no secrets, man. I'm going to pop up on you. You better be ready. You know how it is when when we was kids, or you have your children now, and something's going on, and you like, hey, you know what? Your room better be clean when I get home. Oh, what time you get home? You gonna be up? You come home from work at the same time? Don't worry about it. It better be done when I get home. And guess what? The knucklehead kids that figured, oh, I got some time. He usually get off work at 5 o'clock. He don't get home till 6:30 because of traffic. I'm gonna play video games. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And I'm gonna scramble in and get it done. And guess what? Dad pops up early. No overtime that day. He's coming home, pops up and catches slipping. The leather's coming out. The leather is coming out. That's how Yahweh Shai is. He gives you fair warning. He said, I'm coming. You better be ready. Don't be that rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked kid who's like, yeah, you know what? I know what time he's coming. It'll be a far off from now. I got time. Yeah, you know that for sure? Because I don't. Right? He said, you know perfectly the day the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. Verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we know the birthing pains of a woman, those contractions and breasting hicks and all that other stuff, the dilations, all that is going on right now. We know that. You see it, I see it. You feel it, I feel it, right? Every time we get towards this time of Passover, that's the sign of deliverance. You know, and I made mention of that last night. When everybody partook of them bitter herbs, I mean, the murmuring and the, oh God, good Lord. The kids is whining. Everybody got them stank faces on them because them bitter herbs. Shout out to my sister Uriah. She hooked them up. Yeah. Everybody was mumbling and grumbling. They ain't like that. Nobody likes the bitterness of affliction. Nobody likes the bitterness of oppression. Nobody likes the bitterness of lies, right? Being held down, being restricted, being ruled over by an unrighteous people. All those reminders come into play, right? Nobody likes having to deal with your boss at work who's usurping authority over you, who's acting a damn fool, and you know he or she should not be ruling over you. Nobody likes, you getting pulled over by a female cop, Edomite cop, and she thinks she's the ish because she got that pistol belt on and some mace and a radio that she can call for backup, and she talking ish to you, yanking you out the car, and she shouldn't even be in that position of authority at all. That's vexing alone. You like this little white demon broad over here trying to tell me what hands at what? Hands what on the wheel? What, pull me over? What? Questioning where am I going? That's all bitterness. All this world out of order, the confusion. Now people don't know what a gender is anymore. You had what's her name? Ketanji Brown, the black female Supreme Court justice, says she don't even know what a woman is, and she's a woman. Now she don't know what she is. This is where we're at. That's bitterness, man. You eat them bitter herbs, you sit back like, God damn, I can't believe it. This is foul. I don't like the taste of this. We ate them bitter herbs, but guess what? The next thing that we partook in is the wine and the grape juice, which is the blood of Yahweh, and that's when the life comes back. And once everybody sip that, you can hear everybody say, "Oh, yeah, okay. Ooh, I'm glad this is what I'm washing this down now." Yeah, the blood of Yahweh is going to wash away all the affliction, all the bitterness, all the wrath, all of the unrighteousness, all of the, the malice. He said he's gonna look like he's been stomping through a wine press in Isaiah 63. When he's done with vengeance on his enemies, that's the relief that we're gonna get, right? And that's what we're waiting on. So Romans 13, we're gonna read 10 and 11. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. Many of us know that. When we come up out of the Christian mind state or just the normal mind state of ourselves, we're thinking love is an emotion. We're thinking love is whatever we make of it, as long as we're doing something good to somebody, or open up the door for an old lady, and I'm showing love because I call my mom's 3 times a week, and that's routine, right? But guess what? We also know that love is when we fulfill the laws of the Most High. That's how we show our true love to the Most High. That's how we show that we're willing to be obedient to His instructions in life, and that we love His way. Then the Most High can see that. He can say, "Oh, they love what I'm doing. They love my way." Okay. Now they're showing it. They're acting on it. They're fulfilling this action or this emotion, right? Now, verse 11 is key. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep." Yeah, because in Isaiah 29, the scriptures say that the Most High put us under a deep sleep. But now it's time to wake up out of that sleep, man. There's no excuse as far as information is concerned. And you got the crystal ball in your pocket and in your phones. And, that's the crystal ball, is the phone. Access to information is there. Daniel 12 says that knowledge is going to increase. Many going to be running to and fro. The access to information, archaeology, history has grown 10 times since when I came into the truth. 10 times. And that's what happens too, man, is because and the disparity between, elders and the younger brothers, some feel as though I'm on the equal playing field with you because I know the same things. Yeah, guess what? It took because you got access to it right away, but we had to hit the libraries. We had to go scavenging around the bookstores and trying to find things to create a pathway for the next generation to walk on. Those things get lost in translation sometimes. And this is the time that the Lord said, now there's no reason anybody should be asleep. Now it's time to wake up, right? And now that term, like I've always said, man, that's been hijacked by, the so-called white man and the LGBTQ plus community, the alt right or alt left. The alt left, the extreme left. They are hashtagging WOKE woke, right? All the propaganda that they're putting in the films, they're putting in with the new laws, and particularly it started heavy under Obama, and then it continued on under slow Biden. And then Kamala was trying to still, get it cracking. And then we're the ones who's been sitting back saying we're the ones who need to be woke. We're the sleeping giant. Now everybody's part of this movement. No, that's a whole nother psychological form of warfare that they did. Just like they will pervert John 3:16 and say it's about everybody when we know it's only about Israel. So anything that we do, they want to compromise and want to be all inclusive. But it's not that type of resort. Anybody been on a little vacation? You go to these hotels and islands, and they have these little vacation packages where you got all inclusive packages. Your stay is going to include your food, or boat cruise. It includes your food, your drink is all you can eat, and desserts, and they might even throw in a ticket to a show or something like that. This is not that type of thing. This is not all inclusive. This is exclusive, right? It's high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So, with that being understood, let's jump into it, man. Let's get into it. So, look, the Pentagon is preparing for Trump to go berserk. Why are they saying he's going to go berserk? What are they worried about? Now the Pentagon, this is where all the military actions go down. This is where the think tanks in regards to war strategies is jumping off. This is where decisions go down in regards to where and who weapons are going to. They're preparing for this man to go berserk. I didn't say it. This is what the headlines say. Unprecedented number of B-2 bombers amassed for an Iran strike. Well, we talked about that last week. They sent some more. They sent another warship out there. They're assembling the B-2 bombers. Trump saying, "Hey, I'm gonna bomb the hell out of you by September if you don't come to the table and want to talk about these nuclear sanctions we got on you." And now the Pentagon is over there scared, saying, "Hey, it might go down. We might have to get ready for war." In the largest single deployment of stealth bombers in U.S. history. So now we got to double back and say, if a country who's known for and has been established through warfare, i.e., the Civil War, right? Here we are talking about America, who we've talked about on a number of occasions, has only known peace between 15 and 17 years since its existence under the reign or rulership of the so-called white man. So all it knows is war. And now we're at a precipice in history where they're saying this is the largest deployment of bombers they've ever done. That's saying something for a country who's known to get it cracking and has been in multiple wars. This particular time, they're like, this one is going to be the big one. We might have to step up a bit. So who knows where this is going to go? Now, it says in the largest single deployment of stealth bombers in U.S. history, the Pentagon has sent 6 B-2 Spirit aircraft to Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Notice they call them Spirit. What do we always compare the missiles according to the scriptures to arrows, right? He's the smith that's being mentioned of in Isaiah that creates all these weapons. But now we're even talking about a spirit. And notice how they always use biblical terms with their weapons. You got the Spirit, B-2 bombers. You got Moab bombs, the mother of all bombs. You got the Satan 2 missiles over there. You got Hellfire missiles. They love the biblical narrative when it comes down to this extinction level event type stuff, right? The long-range bombers, which are uniquely suited to evade Iranian air defenses and can carry America's most potent bunker-busting weapons, flew in from Missouri last week in a little-notice operation. The B-2s carry out not just bombs, but a message for Iran. Quote, "Do you see our sword?" Uh-oh. Sword, huh? Well, let's get a... Do you see our sword? I mean, here we are, people run around telling it's 2025. Who talking about swords? Why is the most advanced military still using biblical terms regarding weapons? Swords, right? Let's look at this. 2 Ezra 15:40. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid. The star is the bombs. The star is the ICBMs. The star is the nuclear impactful weapons, making all the earth afraid, right? And them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out every high and eminent place and horrible star, fire and hail and flying swords. What kind of flying swords are we talking about? We're talking about missiles. You just got to hearing about B-2 quote unquote Spirit bombers being referenced as swords. You can't make this up, man. The Lord's words are true, right and exact, and he makes these damn heathen speak his words so that we can precept it and we can see, this is coming from the spirit of the mouth of the Lord. Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. You see that? They're sending a message to Iran saying, "Do you see our sword?" As one retired general told Newsmax this week. President Donald Trump hasn't been shy in threatening Iran, saying that if Tehran doesn't close the door on a nuclear capability, they will experience, quote, bombing like the likes of which they haven't seen. Bombing like the looks they haven't seen. Imagine that. Matter of fact, hold on. Before I put that in the thing. Let's let him say it.
We have great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved a budget, which is in the facility, you'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion, and nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military.
Nobody's seen anything like it. I mean, this is the arrogancy of the so-called white man. When he can just pull $1 trillion out of thin air. If America is damn near $37 trillion in debt, but you can all of a sudden sign a bill and say, you know what, boom, make $1 trillion appear so I can spend it on weaponry and defense spending. And he says, and you're going to like this. Who's going to like this?
We have great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved a budget, which is in the facility, you'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion, and nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something.
We're very cost conscious. So he can say, we're 36, going on $37 trillion in debt. But we're going to need this war chest to get opened up. We're going to need this money because we're about to arm up for something that we ain't never had to go through ever in life. And that's what Daniel tells us, that, we're getting ready to enter into a field that has been like no time ever since. Let's read that real quick. In Daniel 12. He says it's going to be like no time ever since. And here we are hearing about America calling on B-2 bombers more than they've ever done in history, the biggest deployment of them. He's opening up the biggest budget ever, all for war. And at that time, shall Michael stand up, the great prince was standing for the children of thy people. That's who Michael's standing for. He ain't talking about anybody else. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. That's when our delivery is going to come. We're going to have to go through Jacob's trouble. We're going to have to go through World War III. It's not going to be no damn pre-tribulation rapture like the Christians love to say. You ever seen them the goofy Christian movie? I'm sure most of y'all ain't watching them things. But what do they call? I've seen a couple of them advertised on Amazon. Like the it was one called I can't remember the names of them, but it's always like, tribulation going on and all of a sudden people are disappearing. They're getting beamed up and they're not affected by anything. They're going to heaven and everybody else is getting destroyed. Those type of movies, just not going down. We're going to have to experience some of this tribulation. But before final judgment, before final destruction, yes, we're definitely going to be getting, some of us, prayerfully, you, me, we, my household, and yours, will be of that number to be delivered before the ultimate destruction of America and all hell's breaking loose between all the nations, and the judgment of the Lord via the chariots comes and wreaks havoc on the rest of the earth and the nations. And we're removed from said destruction. But it's going to get, we're going to feel some heat before it's all said and done. But that's all leading up to our delivery. So it says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. That's what we're laboring for, is to be found written in the book. Right? So let's let Agent Orange speak one more time.
That we have to build, and we have to, and nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something that we have to build, and we have to be strong because you got a lot of bad forces out there now. So we're going to be approving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military. We have great
Proud to
things
say,
happening with our
biggest one
military.
they've
We
ever done
also
for the military, Negro.
essentially
Uh, it should maybe it's coming from the money Doe's found. I don't know. I know that they always go to the Federal Reserve for that money to print up some funds. Um, they told us that the Doe's money they might give us $5,000 stimulus because they came and said, I know people personally working for the government that's getting uh, notices that they're getting laid off and ultimatums because of those. So they put people in the poorhouse. What they're gonna do with that money, who knows? But we'll see. He's gonna get that money. He's gonna get that money. That's a fact. Um, so let's get back. Now, as he's speaking about this, as he's saying, we need $1 trillion. We gotta get these B-2 bombers over there. There's another headline: danger close. War between the U.S. and Iran has never been closer. And Tehran won't back down to Trump, warns the ex-UK ambassador. So this is what they were saying early off in the week and all of this, right? Now look at this. If you remember last week when Trump laid out them threats and said they're going to bomb the hell out of them and by September and you better come to the table, and Iran said, we ain't talking, we done, like, let's get it on. Now all of a sudden there's been a change of tune a little bit. So somebody's lying. Something ain't right. Iran and U.S. envoys hold the first negotiation over Tehran's nuclear program and talk face to face. So all sounds well. Oh, they're coming to the table. Iran's bowing down. Are they really? Let's see. Iran and the United States will hold more negotiations next week over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. Iranian state television reported Saturday at the end of the first round of talks between the two countries since President Donald Trump returned to the White House. Iran's state-run broadcaster revealed that U.S. Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, quote, briefly spoke together. I mean, that could have been a 5-minute conversation saying, hello, yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm busy right now. Let me holler back at you. I know what we need to talk about. Yeah, well, let me talk to my, yeah, okay, I'll get back. Yeah. No, hold on. I want to talk. Yeah, we'll talk later. I mean, how briefly spoke could have been, like I said, it could have been a 5-minute conversation, 2-minute conversation. It could have been, I'll call you back. Who knows what these damn heathens are talking about? Now, so the first time the two nations have done that since the Obama administration. Tehran's declaration that the two sides spoke face to face, even if briefly, suggested negotiations went well. How do you know it went well because of briefly? They could have got into an argument and somebody hung up on the other. This is how you know you don't know what they're saying, or they could be throwing out disinformation. Suggests. Oh, it's a suggestion. It could be. It's a possibility. We don't know that the negotiations went well, even to Iranian state TV, which long has been controlled by hardliners. In a statement released Saturday afternoon, the White House described the discussions as, quote, very positive and constructive. How can you make that very positive and constructive if it's a brief conversation? What can you extract from a brief conversation and come back and say, oh, it went well. It was really constructive. We had a good build. Based on what? A brief, hey, how you doing? This is Steve Witkoff. Hey, Foreign Minister Abbas, I just wanted to introduce myself, and we're going to be needing to talk soon more about the nuclear program. And the other dude from Iran, Abbas, he probably like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. You're going to call me back? Sure, but we'll talk later because I'm busy right now. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you. Yeah, okay, yeah, me too. We'll talk later. And then it gets to the press. Oh, it was a brief conversation, but it was positive and very constructive. Iran seems to be bowing down to the U.S. We don't know that. They said it's very positive and constructive while conceding the issues that need to be resolved, quote, are very complicated. See, that's the devil's in the details. The issues that need to be resolved are very complicated. You cannot come back and say you had a positive, constructive conversation with a quick 2-minute conversation and say, oh, things are constructive, but you got difficult complications involved. You got Russia and China standing on the sideline saying, "You better not bow down. We got your back." Like, what are you doing? I gotta take the call. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna just let them know I want to hear what they got to say, but I'm not agreeing to nothing. And they probably will take the call, but don't be stupid. So there you go. It's very complicated, but they're trying to put it out there as if Iran is bowing down. They're talking, right? Look, as this is going on, Brits are urged to prepare a 72-hour survival kit. Didn't they just have that in France? So the EU is still preparing for war. France had the 21 page document telling their citizens get prepared. Now Brits are urged to prepare a 72-hour survival kit. Where's Rosemary at? Where's Joshua at, man? Y'all over there in the UK. Did you see any of these headlines, man? Are they telling y'all to get right? Joshua on here. Where's my brother at? Joshua, you over there? I don't see him. I think the time difference like 14 hours over there. No, not that long. I think they're about 6 hours. I don't see him on here or Rosemary, but it's all good. But in the UK, they telling them, hey, 72 hours. Get a survival kit prepared over fears of arrest and sabotage. Security experts have urged Brits to keep a 3-day survival kit on hand in case Putin targets crucial infrastructure. So in the UK, the battle between the EU, the battle between Russia, because they pretty much acknowledging, hey, this thing is over with Ukraine. He's ready to move on to bigger and better things. That's what they're saying he's trying to do. We don't know if that's true, but let's just go with their thinking. The fact that they're still telling their citizens, get ready. You get your survival kits, get your bug out bags, get your survival items prepared for your homes. 3 days, you might be without power, you might be without food, you might be without water. We don't know. We're just telling you, just get ready just in case. The UK's increasing reliance on imported gas could make it particularly vulnerable to Russian gas pipeline sabotage, security experts have warned. Advisors have urged Brits to follow the example of EU leaders who have told citizens to pack 3-day survival kits in case of blackouts from Russian sabotage of underwater pipes transporting gas to the UK. Around 40% of the country's gas supply comes from Norway, including through the 700-mile Langline pipeline. The North Sea infrastructure helped Britain to keep the lights on over the winter after the government drive toward net zero saw the UK's last coal-fired power station close in September. So they're thinking about there could be a blackout, a lack of power, energy that can be going on. And you know what happens when people don't have access to power, energy, the internet, and everything else? People start losing their minds. People lose their minds when their service goes down over their phones for a minute. You'd be quick to jump on the phone. Oh, my internet ain't working. What's going on? Like, imagine you ain't got no service with your heat, your air conditioner, whatever. Your lights, your the ability to turn your stove on and cook something, no gas. Like, it's 72 hours, and the food costs. What are you gonna do? Your refrigerator goes out. All your food spoils. That means what? You got to go buy some food, or you don't know how long it could be down for. You're not going to eat fast food for any extensive amount of time. Not the cost of the fast food is costing right now. So all these things are things that they're telling their people, be prepared because we don't know. Something could change drastically. Zelensky warns many China soldiers, not Chinese, China soldiers. Zelensky warns many China soldiers are on Russia front lines as two captured in the shock escalation. So not only are they saying that North Korea had troops over there and has troops over there in Russia, now they're capturing Chinese, or supposedly capturing two Chinese troops over there. But what's the big deal? I mean, you got forces from the UK, France, you got forces from the US that's helping, and the EU, NATO, they all giving you everything you need to try to sustain. But he's trying to turn it up and say, look, this is turning into a world war. Moab is over here joining in, helping. I need help. I need more money. I need to be in the EU or I mean in NATO. But how do they know they Chinese, man? They could be North Korean. Don't they always say they all look alike? Two Chinese prisoners have been seized by Ukrainian troops, caught fighting alongside Kremlin forces, sparking fears of a major new escalation amid so-called peace talks with Vladimir Putin. Um, they could have been volunteers, man. They could have just went over there. The U.S. had volunteers flying over there to go fight in Ukraine. I mean, this dude, they sit back always whining and complaining, man. They're doing the same things that they're. I mean, they're basically fighting on the same terms. Russia's doing the same thing that the Ukrainians are doing, and vice versa. So let's not. But if it's possible, we're seeing China now entering into this warfare on a low level scale. But if them and Russia join teams, then NATO's got to get involved. The EU's going to throw all bets is off. With the U.S., it doesn't matter if the U.S. agrees or not. They got to get in there and help it and defend. So we'll see where that goes. Red alert, the U.S. starts work on a new nuclear bomb. Excuse me. Red alert, the U.S. starts work on a new nuclear bomb 7 months ahead of schedule, and it's 24 times more powerful than the Hiroshima nuke. To put that into perspective, 24 times more destructive than the Hiroshima bomb. Let's see, how many people died in Hiroshima? Estimates of the number of deaths in Hiroshima due to the atomic bombing range approximately 90,000 to 166,000 by the end of 1945. That's just the numbers that they're willing to admit to, right? It could have been more. You look over here. It says the aerial bombings killed between 150 and 246,000 people. Who's telling the truth? You can say, well, that's Wikipedia. Well, this is AI. Who's putting the information into this? They're all implemented by the same damn people. I would lean more towards these numbers over here. 150, 246,000 people. Now just imagine. They said that America is building a bomb 24 times more powerful than this. This is just who they was able to get. So do the math. Somebody do the math for me. What's 24 times 246,000? Let's get a death toll number. And let's get a death toll number. While I'm waiting. Because I don't feel like pulling up my calculator right now. I'm thinking about something else. Somebody have that for me? 24 times 246. We're going to go with the max number. And notice, you just heard Agent Orange say that he wants to implement $1 trillion budget so he can create the largest military spending bill ever. And now we're seeing where some of this money and technology is going. Man, y'all gonna make me pull up my dang calculator, huh? Y'all got the world at your fingertips. World at your fingertips. All I'm asking for, okay, Zakar, there you go. And this brother driving back to Vegas, and he was able to get 5.9 million people can die from one bomb. That's what they're working on right now. If you haven't seen that movie, Oppenheimer, you should do yourself a solid and go see that. Because it goes into this particular scripture and Revelation 13 with, the bombs that the so-called white man is able to make that makes the world marvel. Isaiah 54:16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. This is the so-called white man. Remember, his blessing was to live by the sword in Genesis 27. He has the knowledge and the ability to be a destroyer in thought. You got to sit back and you wonder, how the hell, what would possess somebody to be constantly thinking about weapons of torture, weapons of destruction, weapons that can, infect and disease people? I mean, he deals from biological warfare, bombs, bullets, guns, calibers, swords, injections. I mean, what type of individual constantly sits back and thinks about these things? My son has a book about all of the weapons of the so-called white man has made. It goes everywhere from the Stone Age, from him, the Bronze Age, carving out weapons, all the way up until now, dealing with nukes. And the book is like this thick book, full of nothing but his inventions on weapons. I believe Uziel, is Uziel in here? If he's not, I believe he's got a book called Weapon, and that deals with the so-called white man and his uh, inventions, right? And it says, "Behold, I've created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work." So, the blacksmith. The blacksmith is the one in there getting the coals hot, laying down the metal, pounding it out, sharpening it up, getting it prepared for the next warrior to take it and use it. They used to have a TV show called what's the name of that show? Um Forged in the Fire, or Forged in the Fire, something like that. And they had a competition where people would be given a particular weapon that they needed to make, like a sword or a knife, dagger, and they would have, I think it was either 3 or 4 people, um, knife smiths or whatever, and they'll be shown a particular gun or weapon. I mean, not a gun, a particular knife, and they've been told, "Hey, we need you to remake this," and they got to do it from scratch. And whoever makes it closest and the most reputable weapon from its ability to cut, hold up against uh, impact and resistance and all that, and its overall look, it ends up winning the prize. The so-called white man came up with this concept. If anybody ever seen that TV show, you know what I'm talking about. Forged in the Fire, or it might just be called Forged. But that's the name of it. I think it came on the History Channel or something like that. But that's the so-called white man. He's forging away. That's what made him do Operation Paperclip when he took them German scientists and got them in there bubbling up the atomic weapon, which goes back into Oppenheimer, right? Spoiler alert. And now here he is talking about he wants to make a whole new bomb. But okay, so four is in the fire. All right, exactly. And Kohath dropped in another. He put in the precept of Isaiah 55:21. You might have put it wrong. Oh, Psalm 55. I put Isaiah. My bad. Yeah, his mouth. That's right. The words of his mouth smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords. That's how he lives. He can't negotiate without the power of the sword behind him. You know? And here he is talking about he wants to make a bomb 24 times more powerful than Hiroshima. Like as if that bomb wasn't good enough. Oh, that one only killed 2.25 million people. Yeah, that's not good enough. We need to up the ante. I want 5 million dead. You got to be a damn demon to be thinking like that, man. But that's him. The gravity bomb is what they're calling it. The United States has ramped up production of the bone-chilling B-6113 bomb 7 months ahead of schedule. He's pressing the issue. We need this done. Get it done now. No everybody on overtime. Nobody gets sleep. 7 months ahead of schedule, man. But remember, even Yahweh Shai said the time's going to be cut short for the elect's sake. So everything is moving faster and faster. I mean, can you imagine? We like a month and a half away from being halfway through this year. Damn near. I know I'm kind of pressing that a little bit. It's only the 12th, but a month from now, oh, no, that's really real. A month from now, it'll be May 12th. Plus another half of that month would be in June. Yeah, so it is about a month and a half. We'll already be halfway through with 2025. And as much as we've been able to discuss and deal with just in these 4 months alone, should make your head spin. But he's pushing the issue 7 months ahead of schedule in an aggressive move to keep up with global powers. Last week, Sandy National Laboratories announced that the production of these latest weapons is being fast-tracked under innovative program planning. Yeah, you can fast-track it now because you got a trillion dollar budget that got signed. That essentially, if you got the money, you can get it done. Money answereth all things, right? It says the program is now allowing the project to be completed 25% faster than initially scheduled. The B6113 is a Department of Energy's National Security Advisor Administration answer to the 2023 task of building a new nuclear gravity bomb. Interesting engineering reported. And that's where you see even this guy, man. He knows what he's doing. These are telltale signs that, when you read Revelation 13:13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That fire came down, that Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb, man, wiped out hundreds of thousands of people in a split second, changed their lives forever, and the world witnessed it and said, man, this dude is a maniac. America, you got it. We're cool. And America transitioned into being an economic and global world power, replacing Great Britain after that World War II. Listen, this created great strength in the eyes of America when they said, look, everybody got these particular weapons, everybody got nukes, but nobody had the heart to do it except for America to push that button. And these great wonders that people was like, we ain't seen destruction like this ever. You just came off of, Kanye's favorite person. You know who I'm talking about. That he's wearing the shirts that so-called represent his movement. He had the funny mustache. Read between the lines, y'all. I got to play coy with the bots and all that. After he had some summer camps, right? Summer camps for some people to stay in, that they called it the how much it cost. Just coming off of that, yeah, he thought that was horrible. That was some horrors. But not until America said, hold on. I mean, you want to see real hell on earth? I'm gonna go as a Japanese, man. We're gonna flame them up. And they said, okay, we get it now. It's real. It's real. All right, so he's on a mission. Smith is doing his works. Did we finish that in Isaiah? I think we did. We did. Let's continue. All right. The gravity bomb, which is dropped from a plane rather than being self-propelled, cost $92 million to develop. $92 million. They got the just to create a bomb they may never use. It's just for the threat. Just an investment. Security investment, they will call it. $92 million will do a whole lot in the hood. $92 million will, get some of these people out of these 10 cities. We was driving out to the farm yesterday to go get our lambs and get them so we can get them processed and do what we need to do. And it's out in the desert, and you could see me out of doubt was like, look, this is how people are gonna be living in the future. I'm like, they already doing it right now. Trailer park, trailers, broken down RVs. They just created a whole little oasis of people who are divested away from the cities, Either that or were forced away. But they got a whole little community out in Lancaster. If you're in California, you know where Lancaster is, Lancaster, Palmdale area, Antelope Valley. Uh, RVs rolled up on all in this little area, man. A whole desert. I mean, it looked like damn Mad Max um, living. $92 million, man, get people out of there. But no, Americans rather spend it on bombs. But that's what it is. You can't take away from the nature of the so-called white man. He's not going to be charitable and say, yeah, maybe I should do the right thing. He can't do the right thing. That's why he needs to be removed from his authority. Let's move on. Americans are preparing for when all hell breaks loose. Oh, imagine that. You got a particular angle of the so-called white man. They're preparing for when all hell breaks loose. Our people don't think that's going to happen because the churches are telling you everything's going to be fine. The government's telling everybody everything's going to be fine. The Mockingbird media is telling you that there is no problems going on the earth. There's no problems with America. What are you talking about? ESPN is telling you that what all hell breaking loose. No, the draft is coming up. So there is a sect of people who are preparing, and they ain't us. Our people is out here preparing to go ride on and shoot each other up. Our people are preparing to go set somebody up and get them robbed. Females out here setting up brothers, get robbed, get jacked, get shot, get killed, whatever. Our people is doing preparing for everything but what they need to be. Y'all know what the Lord said, that we're a sottish people. Wise to do evil, but to do good, we have no knowledge. Americans are preparing for when all hell breaks loose. Once thought of as a fringed mindset. Did you hear that? Once it used to be, that's a little cult-like fringe mindset, man. Them guys are crazy talking about the end of the world, race wars, all this other stuff. That ain't gonna happen. I said that used to be. Once that was a thought, but now it's increasingly becoming more of a reality. People are really seeing what it is and where this place is going. America finished. The writing is on the walls. Everybody's seeing it. Going back to Daniel and his interpretation on the wall from Shalmaneser. The writing was on the wall. Babylon, you're finished. The Persians is coming, they ain't gonna take it over. In this scenario, Babylon is finished. Yahweh Shai, a Mashiach is coming. It's over. There's nothing you can do about it. And they know it. The once thought as a fringe mindset, the prepared citizen movement is gaining traction in a world shaped by war, the pandemic, and extreme weather. 10 men, somewhere in camouflage, others in vests, loaded with ammunition for the AR-15 rifles, gathered under the morning shade of oak trees in Central Florida last month. They were there to learn marksmanship tactics common among special ops forces and elite law enforcement units. So you see who's helping running these things: ex-special ops, retired cops, special law enforcement units. Some of them are still working, right? Their instructor, Christopher Eric Rocher, an Air Force veteran, introduced himself and then led the group in prayer. Lord, you would use them as assets to be protectors in this world, in a world that's full of evil, he prayed. The men gathered around him were not soldiers, police officers, or right-wing militia members. They were mostly civilians, including 2 pilots, a nurse, and a construction company executive. The class is titled Full Contender Minutemen, even referred to the civilians turned soldiers of the American Revolution. So this is what they're doing. They're over here preparing civilians. Look, we was at the range a couple weeks ago. There was a transmission in there. There's a transmission in there shooting. And I'm not talking about the car part. You know what I'm talking about. Transmission in there with his I don't know if his boyfriend or whatever was going on. Me and Alada said, "Do you see that transmission that was there?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "But Everybody and mama's out there, man. Believe you me. We like going there. You get to see what they got going on. And trust me, the heathen, they out there, they getting their ish together. And let me be clear, this is not to say that you need to deliver yourself through your weapon or whatever the case. No, the thing is you want to be prepared to protect you and your house, your home, right? That's your job. Yahushua even told the disciples, if you don't have a sword, sell your garment and buy one. That's from Yahushua. If he gave that wisdom and said, it wasn't even wisdom, he gave him a commandment. He said, if you don't have one, you better have one. When the priest came up and they accosted Yahushua and was delivering them to the Romans, what did Peter do? Pulled out that sword and cut his ear off, right? So that lets you know, man, they was packing. And that's not to say your salvation is in a piece of metal. But if we've been told and our people come from a warrior culture, it's okay to have things to prepare yourself to protect your household, protect your flock and your congregation. I mean, you've seen instances where people are running up in churches, shooting up people, aka Dylan Roof, and other circumstances that's happened. Security is something that everybody should be invested in to make sure that you have a standing chance if something goes on. You may not never need to use it, never need it. But as the old saying goes, it's better to to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Because for sure, your enemies and mine, they playing for keeps. And if we know the scriptures in 2 Ezra 15 tells you that there's going to be sedition among men, invading one another, praying going to turn on each other. I mean, there's going to be serious problems. Famine's going to be kicking in. They're going to be breaking into people's houses for lack of bread. These are the times that are encompassing us. And here they are out here from a nurse down to a construction working executive is getting trained by special ops. I covered an article a while back, man. Esau's running around out here. They train in MMA. They doing it all because they feel the heat coming down. Our problem is our people are so used to the heat, man. We just get used to it and we adapt as opposed to taking action. That's for another time. Let's continue. Stock market will go down 80% when this is over, says bearish investor Mark Spitznagel. He says he believes we haven't entered the main event and the recent stock market plunge is just a trap. Mark Spitznagel, one of the more successful investors, I think he might be onto something. There's so much going on with this economy. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. We know that this thing is spinning out of control. And it doesn't matter how many stop gaps they do, how much that they try to, manipulate the markets and, put band-aids on an open wound. This thing is crashing. We're waiting for a quote unquote black swan event that could get everybody's attention. Now, we heard Bill Gates say, that the next, the next plague is going to get everybody's attention. We heard him say that. We've seen, the threat of war, economic. There's multiple things that they can, throw on the table. Right now, we're seeing the economic shift go down, and a lot of people are scrambling. I think they said that the last poll I seen, it said I think 73% of people are living in economic uncertainty. 73%. Let me see. 73%. I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah, look at this. The wage crisis of 2025, 73% of workers are struggling. 69% of consumers hold back on non-essentials. 70% That was a 2023 people was feeling it. Financially stressed. This is as of January. 73% of workers are struggling, right? So the majority of the people are saying it's rough out here. That was a January, and it's only gotten worse. He says 80% of the market is going to crash when this is all said and done. So you're talking about a serious spike in the financial system, which could collapse this whole place, right? So we keep an eye on that. Um, I had something else. What was it? Oh no, I'm gonna say that to a little later. Let's continue. Now look at this. Now this was before he quote unquote backed down. But just look at the arrogancy and the lies that this dude says. Trump won't back down on tariffs, declaring there's no inflation as his latest approval rating is revealed live updates. So we know that post this he did back down. Remember, he laid down all them heavy tariffs on all them countries last weekend. We talked about it. 150 some odd countries. Everybody got tariffs, and then next thing you know, a few days later, the markets crashed. Everything was going crazy. And then the next day he says, "Oh, I'm gonna put a pause on it. 90 days. Markets shoot back up. Everybody get a little bit of money back, and he's playing games with the markets, and they're manipulating things. But he says he wasn't gonna back down, so he lied and he backed down. Same way he lied and said that he's gonna end the war in 24 hours. He's gonna do all the stuff, make America affordable again, all that, all the big stuff he always talks." Right. But look what he says. President Donald Trump is not backing down on his tariffs, declaring there's no inflation, days after sending the world's economy into a frenzy. So he says there's no inflation. And we deal in reality, right? You tell me if you feel the heat. Throw it in the chat. Throw whatever. 7 in the chat, man. If y'all feel that there's a shift in economic inflation, does your dollar stretch as long as it used to? Now, see, what he's doing is he's sitting here trying to say, because we can read these particular headlines about, U.S. inflation cooled to a 6-month low in March. Inflation rate eases to 2.4 in March, right? Look, whitehouse.gov, they're saying Americans are seeing price relief, the first price relief in years. And then they throw on these little headlines, right? See, that's the Trump effect. Promises made, promises kept. Consumer prices fell in March. Inflation to 2.4, lower than expected. Core at 4-year low. So it sounds like he's really making good, right? Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve said that they wanted the inflation rate to be at 2%. So that's still a white lie, although it's going down according to these fixed numbers. It's still not at the rate that they expect. So there is inflation. It is higher than the 2% that they were supposed to be trying to get it to. He says it's back to normal. There's nothing going on here. And this is coming from who? The talking point of the damn White House telling you this. So we should listen to them, right? What the scriptures say? Never trust our enemy. So he's reading, oh yeah, we're down to 6 point. But that's not no inflation. There is inflation. What is he talking about? Then he says, Trump wrote on social media on Monday morning, oil prices are down. As anybody said, I'm in California. As y'all know, gas is up. 2-3 months ago, we seen gas was down. We was paying about $4.09 for regular unleaded at the lowest I seen it was like 409, something like that. Is now back up to close to $5 a gallon. And that's just, I think it's at 459 right now. That's regular. If you need a premium, you need supreme, you over $5 right now. He's saying oil prices are down. I can't tell. Has your energy bill gone down within the last month or so? Have you noticed a shift in that? Throw something in the chat, but don't be scared if you want to. You standing on truth and you back Agent Orange. Has your power gone down? Now let me know. You say it's 350. That's in Arizona. Almost $3 and change a gallon in Detroit. Brother says his electric bill is $425. Yeah. Okay. So I'm taking that y'all throwing them in there because that does mean that it's not. See, yeah, the problem with this whole throw the tariffs on thing is the depressionary things that kick in. Is how long can anybody hold on to? People was already broke out of the slow Biden era. How long and how much debt can people accumulate? How many layoffs or how many jobs are people going to lose to hold on till things turn around? There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be experiencing economic pain, hardship, and who knows if it ever comes up out of it because the Lord might just decide to say, this is the end of America. There will be no building back. That's the plan. $2? Oh, good Lord, man. I need to get back in the D, man. $2? We ain't seen $2, man, in probably 20 some odd years. 25 years, maybe. The last time gas was $2 here. $3.19 in South Jersey. Good Lord, man, y'all are doing all right. But y'all probably like, hell no, this is bad. But yeah, out here it's bad news. But he says, hey, oil prices are down. What are you complaining about? Interest rates are down. The slow moving Fed should cut rates. Food prices are down. Do I need to go there? He said food prices are down, y'all. Is your grocery bill going down? Are you getting more bang for your buck? Yeah, let me know. He says there is no inflation. And the long time abused U.S. is bringing in billions of dollars a week. Billions of dollars a week. Where is it going? Uh, Do you see anything coming from it? California, they just raised our taxes again. State tax. Uh, he says he's getting in billions with an S from the abusing countries on terror. Uh, oh, so you said your Naquab, your grocery prices has gone down. You've seen a difference? I haven't really seen it yet. I haven't seen it. Not enough that it makes a big difference in my budget, in my household budget. Not to where it used to be a few years ago. But if it's going down in there in Arizona, maybe y'all are reaping the benefits. But he says food prices is down. I'm just saying, the making mention of eggs, they're still anywhere between $6 to $8. Some places $10. Oh, you said no, I haven't seen any reduction. Oh, okay, kind. Eggs anywhere between $6 to $8 a dozen. I'm seeing conflicts going on in stores because people are buying too many eggs. They're putting limitations. You can only buy two at this particular price. Oh, tell me about it. Aladat, hold on. Let me highlight that because we definitely need to double back on that. You said Now, what was the price before that? Pico de Gallo, the salsa we had, uh, was damn near half that price a year ago. Damn near half that price a year ago. The cost increase that we got for a large pan of Pico de Gallo was damn near $30 more within a year. And he says prices are down. Food prices are down. I cannot tell. That's a bold-faced lie. Matter of fact, he's a liar and the father of it. Psalm 35. And let's read verse 20. It says, for they speak not peace. We know that he's not speaking peace. He just got to talking about the $1 trillion budget to roll out for defense spending and to get it cracking in the war. They just fast track making a new atomic weapon more powerful than anything we've ever seen. And what also does a so-called white man do? They devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. What do we do to deserve this? Outside of just being here oppressed, living in curses, but he's laying heavy burdens on everybody. Deceitful matters. He's out here lying. Food prices are down. There's no inflation. Gas, oil is down. Everything's great, but I'm getting in billions of dollars a week. Oh, we're not seeing none of that at all. But this is how he operates. He's out here urinating on us and telling us that it's raining. Psalm 5 and verse 6. It says, thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Leasing is lies, deceit. It says, the Most High Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. This is what, anytime people say, well, why does a guy hate the white man? Why you guys are lying? You Israelites keep adding. No, there's reasons behind everything. It has nothing to do with skin color and the transparency through his, scaly, chameleon-like skin. It's his track record. It's the spirit that's within him. It's what he's prone to do. Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. He's telling us bold-faced lies. Bold-faced lies. But hey, our people love to hear lies, right? Where was we at? Let's double back. Now, you see here, so he says that he enacted this on the Liberation Day tariffs, sent the markets crashing. He says that's just how it's supposed to be. It's all good, right? Donald Trump begs Americans, don't panic, don't be stupid as stock market plummets. He tells you just ride the wave, it's going to be fine. But his phone isn't ringing off the hook about your bills being due. His phone isn't ringing off the hook about, your car note is due, or else we're going to send a truck and come scoop it up. He's not the one that's getting these notices from government officials saying, hey, we're about to lay you off unless you sign this little deal. He's just saying, hey, man, just ride away, man. Relax. It'll be fine. He's speaking on it as if like, hey, in 2 weeks, man, just calm down. 2 months, it'll be fine. This is going to take months, even years for this quote unquote thing to quote turn around. As they get these, they're trying to shake down and get the pause on the tariffs to get the other countries to submit to these tariffs and to bring the industry back to America. It's going to take a few years for them to actually get commercial spaces, get their businesses rolling, everything else, get some jobs back into place. By that time, depending on your economic circumstances, can you last another 2 or 3 weeks under these situations and conditions? Years, I should say. Black folks, man, living check to check. You talking about let's make it a whole nother 2-3 years, we'll be fine. And he's blatantly calling anybody stupid and weak if you don't go along with it. Look what he said. Donald Trump has reacted. Minutes after the value of U.S. stocks dropped sharply as markets opened in Wall Street, the S&P 500 index, which tracks the country's leading listed companies, was tumbling by about 200 points or 4% shortly after opening. The Dow Jones index was down about 3.7% and Nasdaq fell around 4.4%. What was it when it went down? It was I think they said 3 trillion or 4 trillion dollars wiped out instantly when it dropped. But look what he posts on his social media. He's out here. Is he trolling or is he what's he doing? Mr. Trump posted on his Truth Social platform, the United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panicking. A new party based on weak and stupid people. So you're stupid, weak, and you're panicking because you're struggling under this particular economy and you don't buy into the program. You don't believe and you don't have the time and the patience to wait for him to quote unquote make America affordable again. As we just got through seeing, 73% of people are living in economic uncertainty. It's just hard out there. And he's saying, hey, you weak and you stupid if you don't buy into my tariff plan on taxing everybody. I mean, but that's the power that the white man has. And we know other nations have had let's look to this is the reign under the Romans and the so-called white man. We know that there's been tributes throughout various kingdoms, but when the Romans came into play and they started taxing, that was a high way of them funding their governments, right? Luke 2:1 says, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this is how they operate, through taxings and tariffs. The other countries, they got taxes and tariffs on America too, but America, the mother of harlots, has opened up its doors to be this, sanctuary for all these countries and kingdoms to prosper at. The sanction they threw on China and China threw on America it's imbalanced because there's not, I don't know how much stuff America sends to China that China needs from America. They obviously have things that's going on over there that they increase the tariffs. But China's going to get affected by these tariffs greater than America will. They got so much stuff coming on over here. I think they had 154% tariff tax. So that's going to be tough. But he says, hey, man, you stupid and weak if you don't believe in this thing. You can lose your car. You can get evicted. You can lose your home. You're still stupid and weak if you don't, ride it out. If you don't keep buying the dip and losing more and more money. You're stupid if you are losing your 401k or whatever you got going on, your investments, your IRA. You're losing all of that stuff, man. Social Security's in turmoil. You're still waiting on your IRS return because they short staffed because they're laying off people. People are quitting and running. And we saying, man, ride it out. Don't be weak and stupid. This guy's a piece of work, man. Piece of work. But there you go. Look, Trump issues crude and humiliating response to trade partners as he tanks the global economy. This is what he's saying. Trump was unabashed last night as he claimed that America held all the cards in the ongoing trade war that are sending global markets to the brink of collapse. Well, America does hold all the cards, but the scriptures tell you that. This is the mother of harlots. This is Babylon. This is where all the countries are relying upon for success. So that's true. Now he says, I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my 2 cheeks and not the ones on his face. I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my A. The president said during his speech at a National Republican Congressional Committee dinner in Washington. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything, sir. That's the arrogancy of this man. The white man loves when all the nations bow down and kiss the ring. And that's him. Remember, he's going to make all the nations drink of the wrath of the fornication. and he's making them bow down. Now, supposedly, this is why he paused and gave them 90 days to bring them to their senses and say, well, look, if you don't want these, these tariffs, then you're going to have to come over here and break bread and give us some more money and all this extra stuff. He says Japan is coming here as we speak. They're in a plane flying, lots of them. Who? He says Japan, and then he says they're in a plane flying, lots of them. Is he talking about the Japanese? There's lots of them coming. All tough negotiators, but things that people wouldn't have given us 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7. They're giving us everything. They don't want tariffs on themselves. Now he's dating back 7 years. That was under his last presidency. So back then they weren't listening to him, but now they are. Why wasn't he pushing these tariffs back then? Unless this is a plan to collapse and destroy the economy. That could very well be the plan. Who knows? We know that this place is going down one way or the other, by hook or by crook. Right now, the financial aspect is where it's at. And he doesn't want to face the facts that, hey, as a businessman, he doesn't want to see particular failures because it's going to make him look weak and stupid. But let's not forget, the man's filed bankruptcy multiple times. So he's known to crash some economies and lose some assets and claim broke because he can't pay him off. And shaking and moving and reestablishing a new business and doing what he's doing. So he's no stranger to collapsing and failures in business. China hit back. They hit back with 84% tariffs and calls on the world to unite against Trump tyranny. So China's trying to lead the charge. China's trying to get the rest of the world to come against America. As of right now, doesn't look like they got a lot of support. But they're trying, and they're increasing. They're standing on their 10 toes and saying, we ain't going for it. We ain't going for it, and they're going to try. But we'll see how long they can hold out. Let's continue. Adam Schiff calls for insider trading investigation into Trump over tariff pause. Senator Adam Schiff on Wednesday called on Congress to investigate whether Donald Trump engaged in an insider trading or market manipulation when he abruptly paused a sweeping set of tariffs, a move that sent stock prices skyrocketing. So yeah, was this a pump and dump? Well, he told everybody, hey, look, I'm laying these tariffs down. It's Liberation Day and all this other stuff. Everything crashes. His insider billionaire buddies go in and buy everything cheap. Because everything's crashing. They go and buy things pennies on a dollar. And then he doubles back and says, okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to give a 90-day pause, man. Everybody can calm down. 90 days. I'm gonna talk to the nations. I'm gonna try to get them back on. Oh, guess the markets shoot back up. So them stocks I bought low, them investments I threw in there when everything was crashing, everybody was panicking, everybody was selling off. Now some insider people getting rich saying, oh, let me buy this dip. And then he says, don't worry, I'm gonna flip it. Flips it. Everybody getting his money. So Senator Adam Schiff is saying something ain't right. Something ain't right. So he says, I'm going to do my best to find out. Schiff, a California Democrat, tells Time, family meme coins and all the rest of it are not beyond insider trading or enriching themselves. I hope to find out soon. So was there some folly that went on regarding this pump and dump? It seems like what went on, because now everything went back to crashing again. It went down. It went up for one day. Next day it went back down again. It's been tumbling ever since. I think there has been some recoveries a little bit. I know gold, the metals, they doing what they supposed to do. But anytime the metals is looking right, that means the paper ain't looking good. So let's continue. Oh, ironically, the Trump family is going all in on crypto projects, from Bitcoin mining to stable coins. Whatever happened to the Trump coin? Remember that? He got pumped up. He made $5+ million overnight. And since then, it's been tumbling. But we're seeing here they're trying to get some insight into where they'd like the economy to go. We've always been talking about a cashless society and a digital currency being introduced as the staple of doing business, and the Trump family is all in on it, including Donald J. Trump. United Nations is pushing an agenda to replace airline boarding passes with facial recognition technology. Yeah, if you seen what's that movie, Minority Report? This isn't truth being stranger than fiction. Yeah, they're moving towards a more biometric geared system. That's the system of the beast. Cashless money, identification is all going to be based around biometric data. The UN is out here leading the charge, where it's always going to be used as a form of convenience and to make sure you feel more secure. Who nobody can identify you but yourself. Don't worry, we're going to secure all your stuff. Meanwhile, they have the lock and the keys on all of this stuff, and the back doors to access your information and mine, um, utilizing these means and the ability to cut it off if you don't play ball. The agenda to enforce biometrics for air travel is gaining steam as the International Civil Aviation Organization, a specialized agency of the United Nations that coordinates global airline policy, wants to enforce digital surveillance on passengers. Remember, they were talking about having a digital passport? Not even was talking. They had digital passports during the COVID era, where these passports were being implemented based upon travel circumstances. So they utilize those things to introduce the idea, see how people will adapt to it. I played a video some while back. There's a brother that was living in I think he was in Dubai, and he was talking about his daily routine. Everything was locked in on a QR code. He had to show it everywhere he went. He had to show that he was green or that he was clear to go, that he wasn't, carrying any symptoms and all that other stuff. He couldn't enter anything unless he had the app. You had to be in Wi-Fi areas where your Wi-Fi was. Your phone had to be Wi-Fi accessible at all the time. All of this stuff, man. So now they're talking about, digital travel credentials, as they're calling it, right here. The agency wants to introduce a digital travel credential that would enable facial recognition technology to replace your boarding pass. Here, in the U.S., the Real ID is going to be the new, system of travel for domestic travel, and I think it also extends to. I could be wrong. If anybody knows, correct me. But that Real ID they got for I think they're saying you can also go to Jamaica and Mexico without a passport. Your digital ID will suffice for that. I could be wrong though. I could have sworn I read that somewhere. That not only the domestic travel, but it includes certain places, international too. But I might be wrong on that. But either way, um, the new age forms of travel, locking into a one grid digital system is still in the works and on the way. Uh-oh. How diseased Franken chickens sold in your supermarket are making you ill. I mean, I think it's kind of understood. We know where the food system is going. Talked about it a number of times. 90% of chickens bought in the UK supermarkets are Franken chickens, and this has serious implications for Britain's eating them. So my people's out there in the UK, they saying 90% of the chickens out there is lab grown. Growing numbers of chickens suffering from diseases and dying prematurely in slaughterhouses are contributing towards serious illness and potential deaths in humans. The iPaper can reveal the prevalence of bigger, fast-growing chicken breeds on UK farms dubbed, quote, Franken chickens by campaigners has led to more people developing health problems, according to animal welfare charities. Yeah, because you got to wonder, man, you see these chickens, and if you ever seen live chickens or whatever, and some of these chicken legs and chicken, wings that you see, man, these all mutated looking wings, these swelled up chickens, walking like they on the juice. They probably are. And then you see the smaller ones, and you're like, which is the real? Which one is it? you know. But Franken chickens, man, talking about causing health problems. These types of birds require greater levels of antibiotics, which is contributing to the growing human health problem of antibiotic resistant infections. The Alliance to Save Our Antibiotics said antibiotic resistant bacteria are causing increasing numbers of deaths in the UK, according to the latest available figures from the UK Health Security Agency. 2,640 people died from serious antibiotic resistant infections in 2023, a 10% rise in 2019. Of course, over here, they're talking about bird flu. We know that still is going on. I mean, um, and I want to make sure I'm right on this because what was this? Oh, before I go back, I did have a little video on that passport. Um,
Boarding passes and the need to check in for flights could soon become a thing of the past. The International Civil Aviation Organization is planning to overhaul the aviation industry in what is being called the biggest shakeup in 50 years. Now, according to the new rules under discussion, passengers will be able to upload their passports to their phone and pass through airports using only their face for verification. Checking in for flights online or at the airport could also become obsolete.
Now, notice he said everything you got to upload through your phone. I've been talking about that for a long time. That the phone is going to be the a real instrumental thing when this B system, quote unquote, mark comes into play as well. All right, continuing on.
Passengers instead will have a journey pass, which will be automatically updated if any changes are made to the booking. Currently, passengers must check in online or at the airport on arrival, where they are issued with a boarding pass with a barcode which is scanned as a passenger proceeds through the airport. If the new rules under discussion translate to reality, this is how a day of air travel may look like. Fast, passengers would scan their biometric passport with their phones. The phone would store the data temporarily and allow passengers entry into the airport. Facial recognition systems would then scan faces of passengers at the baggage drop point and at pre-security checks.
Did you hear what he said? He said, "This is how you are actually even able to get into the airport. Into the airport, not on your flight, not through the security gates. That's step two. You can't even get into the airport until this is done."
Finally, at the boarding gate, passengers' face will be scanned, allowing them entry into the plane.
Yeah, Bayan, they already doing facial recognition in the airports already, uh, in certain places. So I mean, it's already here, man. They just getting ready to just roll it out, full blown, waiting for the UN to approve it. Okay. Um, so you see what's going on with the health thing with the chickens. That's what I want to see too. Uh, let's see what China. I know, because I made mention that they eat a lot of the swine come from over there. Good thing we don't eat it. But you see here, food and agriculture. U.S. agriculture industry is expected to be another sector that faces steep losses, and China is a major market for the industry, taking in more than $27 billion of U.S. agricultural goods last year. China imported $1 billion in cotton, sorghum, beef, pork, and seafood. It's coming from China, right? They're getting $1 billion a year. That's what's going to be impacted with these tariffs uh, that come in. Now, you got these. You see these damn pigs that come from China, man. They got pumped. Look at these damn things. These are these are pigs coming from China, man, muscled up, roided out. Look at muscle mutated pigs. Look at this. Who the hell is Look at these gooks, man. And this is what people are. Good lord. And our people have trouble giving this stuff up, not knowing what this stuff is, let alone the nature in which these things live. The law telling us not to eat these things. Then you got to be concerned about where is it coming from and what are they doing with the stuff. Uh, but I just popped in my head. Anyway, before we close out, man, another plane crash. I don't blame y'all if you like, hey, I'm not trying to travel. I'm not trying to hit that plane, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Terrifying moment. Helicopter crashes into the New York City Hudson River with a child inside. I think it was a family of 5. And the cold part is it was a Jake. He was the pilot. And they, of course, they're investigating him. He's dead, but they double back and trying to make sure there was no foul play involved. But I mean, there's been too many of these things happening damn near weekly. Right, here's another one. 4th U.S. air crash in 2 days. Leaves 1 dead in Texas. This was a private aircraft crashed in Texas. Helicopter crashes in New York and New Jersey. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I do think it is kind of ironic, and not only ironic, but fascinating that there's a system with these airplanes that are constantly crashing and burning weekly. We ain't seen it like this ever, I don't think, but it's been very, very wild with these airplanes and what's going on. But hey, we made it through another DSTM. Giving all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, right? How was man? Appreciate everybody for tapping in, adding your input in. Lord willing, we'll get through this week to make it to another week till we can, recap some more prophecies and things that unfold as the times continue moving on, and enjoying this Feast of Unleavened Bread the rest of this week. So prayerfully, man, everybody stays locked in the spirit of maintaining an unleavened spirit in life, without malice, without wickedness, moving in the righteousness of the Most High, striving towards that kingdom, man, seeking his face 10 times more, trying to stay on point as best as we can. Because the time is of the essence, man. We know that. Get back to that beginning of the lesson, dealing with them prayers. Like I said, for myself as well as everybody else, man, let's try to stay in compliance with the scriptures if you can. Remember how we get down in Israel, man. 3 times a day if you can. If you can't, just make sure you're offering up them supplications. And everything don't always have to be a formalized, hey, I got to pray. I'm face easy, man, on my knees. You may just be in a meditative thought in your communications with the Most High, right? Give the Most High some thoughts throughout your day. And Lord willing, he protects, watches over, and blesses all of us. All right. So with that, I'm going to get on out of here, man. Shalom and bless Shabbat to everybody, and continuing on in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, man. See y'all in the near future. Shalom.